Hi, this is Micornus, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I want to speak about personal ministry mission. And this is something that every Christian and every child of God should actually discover and know it, because that is a very, very important aspect of the life of a Christian. Now, personal ministry mission is actually a mission that is in line with the spiritual destiny of every single Christian, or sort of a gift, if I may call it that way, in inverted commas, whereby God has given you a certain line, or a calling rather, that you are called by God to a certain direction in your life. Now, this is very important because every Christian, you are not born by mistake, and you are not born again by mistake either. And therefore, you should be able to identify that which God wants you to pursue or to do. And that's what we call a ministry or a personal ministry mission. So, in other words, it's a line of calling that's within the ministry. Remember that a calling could be of an individual, could be something that is not related to a ministry at all. It could be something that is maybe business wise in the marketplace, or political sometimes, whereby God has actually framed you, or in a way designed you actually to be in a certain space. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about that which, when you are in that space, then it relates to the ministry. And because every individual who's a child of God should actually make an impact in this world regarding ministry. So you are having a calling which is specific, related to a calling, or to a ministry, that you should make an impact in that particular ministry. Now, I'm emphasizing this because I want us to understand that when we speak about purpose, when we speak about a calling, for instance, as I said, it could be something that is totally away from ministry. But the very same thing that you are called to be, that is away from the ministry, for instance, if it is business, there will be what we call personal ministry mission, which will be something that will relate with that very same business life, related to the ministry. It could be that God wants you to support a ministry in a certain area. It could be that God wants you to use finances in a certain way while you're doing business. You find that your overall assignment could be business, but that business should actually be aligned to a ministry in this world, because God is interested actually in us living our purposes, but moreover, for us to promote the knowledge of Christ unto the lives of the people. So that is why when you come to what we call a Great Commission, a Great Commission is not an individualistic ministry. It is actually a calling for every child of God. So in other words, when we talk about personal ministry mission, it is something that will be in line to promote the knowledge of Christ to the world, or to bring about Christ to the people. So that's very important. And that's what we call a ministry, or a personal ministry mission. So every Christian should have that. And what I want to speak about today is that the importance, therefore, why does every Christian need to have what we call a personal ministry mission? The first thing is, why do you need to have a personal ministry mission? It is because it helps you to discover ministry niche. It helps you to discover an area or a target group of people that God wants you to align with, in the sense of ministry, in the sense of ministering in a certain way. So, because we are not the same as we are, all of us. And you'll realize that some of us as Christians, even though you might be evangelists, which are people that are focusing on the Great Commission, but you're doing it in a different way. There are those that their niche market or their niche would be actually to preach through door to door. And those are people that are comfortable with that. And you'll have others that will say, I am actually in outreaches whereby I'll actually put up crusades. Though we are all winning souls, but we are winning souls in a different niche way. And that's what I'm talking about. Because there are those of us who believe that when you reach out to people and you want to lead them to Christ, I personally believe that getting children that are young teaching them about Christ is more easier and more simpler than to actually go to adults who are actually framed up in their own ways to try to convince them to accept the Lord as a personal Savior. That's something that is a bit more difficult. And when I look at it, I would prefer a strategy whereby we teach children even in our homes. We teach children, even in our churches as well, and to make them know the Lord Jesus and his ways as early as possible in their lives. So you see the niche. The niche is whereby the focus is we're doing the same thing, but the focus would be I would do it through children. Somebody would do it through elderly. Somebody would do it through crusades. Some will do it through open airs. And others would say, I prefer cottage meetings and so on. So different types of doing, and that's the niche that I'm talking about. And therefore, personal ministry mission will help you to discover what the niche of your ministry is. Secondly, personal ministry mission, what it will do, it brings sense of meaning and significance to your life. And many of us are actually frustrated because we just don't know what to do in life. We are confused because we are not even aware what we are called for. But personal ministry mission, what it does, it defines you as a person. It gives you a sense of meaning. Because whatever you do, you have that fulfillment of I'm doing actually something for the Lord. And I'm doing it in a particular way that fulfills you. What it does, it actually brings significance as well. And that is why you'll realize that even though people can be ministers, people can be preachers, but they are having a certain way of doing it. So their personal ministry mission will define them, will actually give them an identity, will give them a sense of meaning because they will be different than others. Even when you invite them, say, to come and speak in a conference, you'll realize that this particular person is having a certain angle of approaching the gospel. And that is an area maybe that you need. Before you invite them, you would have actually identified that. So what it does, it brings a sense of meaning to an individual. And also what it does, it actually brings a sense of significance. And many people feel significant because they are unique and different in their personal ministry mission. So your ministry mission will actually define the direction that you take in ministry. And what it does, it actually brings some significance whereby people have got the need of your personal ministry mission. So it is very important then for every Christian to have what we call personal ministry mission. Another thing is it brings focus to your life. And most of the people are actually having no focus because they don't have personal ministry mission. When you've got a personal ministry mission, it's actually like an objective. It's like a target. It's like an area of focus. So what it does, it actually gives you the direction of focusing. And you are able to know what to do when, and also to put up a calendar or program of events that you want to do based on the focus in your life. Now, what it does, it will actually channel you to focus in a certain area of doing ministry. And I want to emphasize this because many of us end up not being focused in our ministry. We end up starting this, and when you've started a certain way of doing ministry, you drop it, you go and start something else. And when you've started it and you're continuing, you drop it as well. And sometimes this is made or brought about by the fact that you don't have a clear personal ministry mission. And when you don't have a clear personal ministry mission, you end up actually moving from one place to another. You end up not having a backbone and focus of what you're doing. And that is why you find that some of the ministers become what we call fly-by-night ministers. And the reason why you see that is more because this particular individual has got no personal ministry mission. And because of that, you find you are all over the place. You do things and not complete them. You actually move from one place to another. You cannot actually be focused and be seen in one area of your ministry because your personal ministry mission is not clear to you, so therefore focus is not there as a result. Now, the other thing is personal ministry mission. It helps you to evaluate progress in your own life because when you have got this personal ministry mission, it becomes therefore an objective. It becomes something that you reference to. Something that you look at and say, am I making progress in my life? Because progress is actually monitored by a certain target that you have. an objective or a goal that you want to achieve. And what personal ministry mission does, it does exactly that. It becomes a target, it becomes an objective, it becomes something that you reference to and say, if I have achieved some certain objectives in my life, then you can actually measure progress and say, at least I'm making progress. So I want to urge each and everyone as a Christian in different churches, wherever you are, you must have what we call personal ministry mission. Because what it will do to you, it will actually help you to evaluate progress of your life. If you are making strides in everything that you do. And we have seen people doing what we call New Year resolutions. We have seen people doing that. But New Year resolutions, because they are temporary. And you find that those are targets that many people cannot actually pursue. And most of the time, you set them up every year, but you don't pursue them because they are not permanently related to a ministry, a personal mission, or a personal ministry mission. Because when you've got a personal ministry mission, whatever you set up as a resolution, it becomes what we call an objective. Now, that objective or plan that is set for a particular specific time of or a year, it is actually something that you pursue because you want to see the progress in your life. But what it will help you to do as well is you will be able to evaluate whether there's progress or not. But finally, I want us to also look at this. That personal ministry mission, what it does, it helps you answering the functional questions like, what does God want me to do in my life to serve Him? And also a question that says, is that makes you to get to know your personal ministry mission. And that's very important because when you know what God is actually looking forward to you to do or what God expects you to do, therefore, you've got what we call ministry or a personal ministry mission, and therefore you are able actually to do things because you know that's what God expects you to do. I want to end up here today, your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I hope that you have learned quite a bit out of this and you'll take it up with us as we continue with another subject tomorrow. And you know our Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions, our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane. So please like those pages. Make sure that you follow us every time we've posted actually a video of this kind, which you will learn quite a bit out of. We have got a TikTok account as well, Micornus Phokane. So please visit us there. You'll find a lot of materials that we have posted there, but including our YouTube channel as well, which is under Micornus Phokane and the one on Young Men Empowerment Forum. So please make sure that you also subscribe to our YouTube channel, be part of what we're busy doing. And the good Lord will bless you as you do that. We will be tackling another topic tomorrow, and I hope that you'll join us as we do so. May the good Lord bless you and allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.